Yeah, my name is Zakashi and I'm bringing you guys a Genshin Impact video. Not my first, but it's going to be a good one for you guys that haven't actually played the game or are just starting the game, because this game is quite a grindy game. Like, you're gonna have to be getting down to work, doing a lot of things, and if you do things in the wrong order or waste your resources trying to build yourself back up, it's going to take a long time. So it's a game where you really don't want to make mistakes at the start of the game. So I'm bringing you guys this beginner's guide to actually help you get a good start on the game, especially because there's lots of things that you need to know playing this gacha game as well. Like the fact it's a gacha game is a very big factor to how you actually tackle the game. So hopefully you're gonna enjoy this video. I'm bringing you guys basically the mistakes I've made, but on top of that, everything that's actually gonna help you get a good start. I got a bit of experience here. I'm adventure rank 54. I think it maxes out like 60, 70, 60 I believe. So I'm pretty much almost at the max level, so I've been playing for a long while. But once you're at those beginners levels, you're really gonna want to actually tackle the game in the right way so you don't make any mistakes. So if this video is going to be informative for you, or once you decide after the video, press that subscribe button, help me get to 15k. At the time making this video, we're almost at 15k. Don't want to hold you guys up any longer. Let's actually get into this video now. Okay, so first things first, I told you earlier that this game is a gacha game, but something you need to know, and it's very important that you need to know this, because unlike a lot of gacha games, this gacha game has a mercy system. So that literally means after a long while of getting shafted, you will literally be guaranteed one of the good characters. So there's 4 stars, there's 5 stars. After about 90, I believe it's 90 on the dot, if you haven't got a 5-star, your next summon will basically be a 5-star type thing. And it's really good that it does that, because it makes sure that you don't actually just go the whole game getting nothing. On top of that, say for this example, this banner here, I just start summoning, right? The main character here, the featured character, is Ganyu. This girl, she's looking neat, she's looking nice. If I get to 90 summons and then my next character is going to be a 5-star, like I just told you, there's a mercy system, and I get another 5-star on the banner. So if I go to the details of the banner, you can see there's Ganyu on the banner, Jingling, those are the featured. But there are other 5-stars you can get on the banner, like Mona, Diluc, Kachink, Chi-Chi, and Jean. If I get any of these other 5-stars and it's not Ganyu, who is the featured character on the banner, my next 5-star, whether it takes me 90 pulls when I go a full another rotation on the banner, so 90 pulls is a rotation, that's 9 multis, it will be the featured character, which is Ganyu. So something that I didn't know when I started the game, I actually was pulling on this banner using my primo gems, my rare precious primo gems, trying to get Diluc. But Diluc was also on this banner, but Venti was the featured characters. So if I went ahead and just spent 90 primo gems on this banner, not 90, but 90 summons basically on this banner, the chances of me actually getting Diluc would have been better, because he's also on this banner. And then on top of that, if I got Diluc the first time, my next 5-star guarantee would have been Venti, which was the guaranteed 5-star. So before you even spend any primo gems, this is something that you need to know getting into this game, because it's not your regular gacha that really just tries to ruin your day with shafts. So bear that in mind. Okay, now you know how this gacha game works. You're gonna actually start playing the game, and you're gonna end up at this place, Mondstadt, the main city, basically just where you're gonna get your main story quests and whatnot. But there's one specific thing that you need to collect in this place, and it's your adventurer handbook. You can see here, I'm going to bring it up. It's very useful. I've pretty much cleared all the experience in it, and it just gives you everything that you need to know for you to actually progress in the game. It's really, really useful in terms of just making you progress. How to unlock this adventurer handbook, because you don't actually get at the start of the game. But if you just continuously play through the main storyline, so you'll be getting primo gems and whatnot, you eventually get a world quest. It's called Welcome to the Adventurer Guild, and you'd have to talk to this beautiful woman right here, Katheryne. She's a receptionist for the Adventurers Guild. You speak to her and whatnot, and then you'd actually be able to unlock the adventurer handbook through speaking to her. She would actually give it to you, and it's very useful because it actually just helps you get primo gems, which is the main currency in the game. Some other things like artifacts, which will come in handy. I'll speak about that later. Things to level up your characters, and of course Mora, because Mora is useful for everything in this game pretty much. So all of this is going to be useful, but hold on to it for now, because you're going to need to know where you want to use it and where you want to prioritize it. So make sure you get the adventure handbook, because it literally gives you everything you need to know, whether it's enemies that you want to fight to grind certain items, places to go to grind certain items as well. And on top of that, there's commissions that you get every day to actually get some primo gems, more experience and whatnot. So make sure to capitalize on this adventurer handbook. Okay, so now you're definitely probably wondering how to actually get stronger, how to get better weapons, how to level up your characters, things like that, to just basically make your experience much faster, so you're not just struggling trying to grind certain things. Well, I'm going to bring you into the character selection here, and I'm going to use Zhongli as an example, but this is basically just where you actually look for everything that's going to make your characters actually just way better than they are. So you can see here my attributes for Zhongli: max HP, attack, defense, elemental mastery, stamina, and whatnot. On this first page where it's attributes, it's actually where you can level up and upgrade your character. So I'm going to use Barbara as an example because I actually have Zhongli at 90, which is the max level. If I go to Barbara, you can actually ascend her, and these are the resources I need to actually get her to the 90 gap. So after every star, there's like a barrier you need to pass. So it's kind of like level them up to 10, for example, or whatever. And then you'd have a barrier you have to pass, 20 barrier you have to pass. And it requires quite a bit of materials. To actually increase the level itself, you're going to need these books. So I'm going to use the Adventure Handbook because it's pretty useful. There's books that look like this. There's 3 kinds. There's a purple kind like this. There's like a burgundy type. And there's one more other type, but you just know what it looks like. They're called character EXP materials. It's self-explanatory if you press into it. Pretty useful to actually level up your characters. The next bit, weapons. Weapons, you're going to want a lot of them. But remember when I went to the wish section at the start of the game where you do your summons, do not even bat an eye at the weapons banner, because you will suffer. They're literally for whales. Anybody who's really trying to spend real life money on this game, don't even think about summoning this banner if you're playing free to play for the weapons banners, because they're actually not worth it in any way, shape or form. But you actually gradually get weapons. So Zhongli, he's a type that takes a polearm. There's 4 types of weapons. You can get a sword, polearm, a bow, and a catalyst, and a claymore. 5, in fact. 5 types of weapons. If I actually go into my bags, I can show you what each type kind of looks like. So here you see a claymore. They're kind of like the big type swords. Here you've got a catalyst. They're like books. Polearms, like what Zhongli's using. And then you've also got the swords. So here's an example of a sword. And then you've got bows, of course. Everybody has their own type of weapon, so you can't equip a bow on a person that uses a sword, for example. You need to bear that in mind for when you're actually trying to get certain things and prioritize certain materials for certain weapons. The next bit on this section here is actually the artifacts. The artifacts are probably the most important thing in the game for actually making your character better than they are. However, it's not something you should even look at early game heavily at all, because as you level up, so every time you actually progress through the game, your world level actually increases. So you can see here my world level is 7. If you want to read into it more here, it gives you examples of you increasing your world level. As you increase your world level, you unlock better things and better items that you can actually use to make your characters better. So you might invest heavily in early game into an artifact, but as soon as you increase your world level, you'd be able to get better ones immediately, and that artifact that you spent so much stuff on, it's just going to become useless because you'd be looking to better artifacts. So until you get to about 45, 50, maybe 40 earliest is when you'd unlock the 4-star artifacts, and some 5-star artifacts is when you'd actually want to really invest into artifacts. So if I go to my adventurer handbook, which I told you was really useful, you can actually go to the domains and look at all the types of domains that they are to grind certain things. So right now we're on artifacts, and you can see that there's many domains to grind artifacts, but because you're low level, it'd literally be a waste, a literal waste to actually try and get these. So don't even bother looking into artifacts until you're about 30 plus, but you'd be getting drops anyway. So if you want to upgrade some here and there, go ahead, but I don't advise doing so because they'll get replaced very quickly as you progress. Next bit here is the constellations. This is more so a section for whales, but if you can get your constellations up, it's very useful. So once you're summoning, you get actually a 4-star of some kind every 10 summons. So there are 4-star characters, and you end up getting high constellation for a lot of 4-stars. For example, I'm going to show you Jingling here. I've also got her, almost got her max cons. I've got her cons 5 right now, and for every constellation they get an upgrade to one of their moves basically, and it just makes them a much better character for you to use. So you can imagine if you get a character like Zhongli, who's a 5-star to max cons, is going to cost a lot of money. Trust me, a lot of money. You'd actually be making him way better, like ridiculously broken, to the point where it's just so easy to progress in the game. But constellations, if you do spend money, is something that would actually benefit you greatly, and you'd get them through summoning. So it's like when you get dupes of someone, you'd get this type thing for the specific character, and then you'd be able to unlock that constellation. Because obviously dupes in this game don't actually have a literal benefit, but that's why they're transformed into actual what are these called here, these activate constellations, they're formulas for people, and then you can just unlock the things that make them better. So yeah, that's more so for whales. But the last thing that's actually going to help you is the talents. Now here it actually just upgrades every single move that your character has. So Zhongli has a normal attack here with his polearm. That's when you just consecutively just press the attack button so you can hit the enemy. This one here is his E ability. If you're playing on console, it's the elemental burst. So if I drop down here to the floor to show you, he drops a pillar. This is a normal attack, so you can see. And then if I hold it as well, he does that with his polearm. If I go back into that, the next bit is actually his ultimate attack, which is pretty neat. Planet Befall is such a lovely ultimate. I love it. It's literally like planetary devastation. If you watch Naruto, I'll show you an example of it here. He drops a huge geo ball just to destroy the enemy. Really nice, does a lot of damage. But on that talent section is actually where you can upgrade all those moves so they can do more damage. They require these books down here, which are quite difficult to get, as in you're gonna need a lot of them, but I'm gonna get into that later. But upgrading your talents is really important because it just makes your character that much better. So all of these, you need to be aware that they're all options in the game to actually increase your character's potential, basically. But yeah, just pay attention to this. Artifacts, ignore it pretty much till late game. Weapons, don't go summoning for them, but you'll be gaining some throughout your gameplay in the game. And the attributes, you can upgrade them, of course, and that's something you really want to do. Okay, so we've pretty much gone over the basics, so you just know how to progress in the game in terms of your characters and how to actually tackle the summoning, so that you just don't go summoning randomly and then potentially wasting your opportunity to get a really good character. The next thing you're going to want to know is that this game has a really annoying energy system, but it's an energy system nonetheless. It's called Resin. So if I pause the game here, you can see it on the top here. You get 160 per day, and it's basically just really useful for you guys to get certain materials and attack certain bosses. So you can see all over the map, I've got like these domains here. There's some of these here, wild elite bosses, and then there's wild bosses like Boreas over here. They all take resin to actually claim what they drop at the end of the battle. Dvalin over here, Storm Terror. You're gonna need resin to actually claim those. So what the whales be doing, they be actually refreshing once you go empty. But of course, if you're free to play, you're not gonna want to refresh because you're gonna want your primo gems to actually summon. But it's up to you whether you want to progress faster. Resin is basically the key to actually speeding up your progress through the game. So it's something that refreshes gradually. I believe it's like 20 minutes. I'll probably write on the screen so like you guys can know. But the amount of time that it takes to refresh, for one, you'd actually be waiting quite a bit. So if you're obviously trying to refresh, you'd actually be progressing through the game much faster. Everything pretty much that you need to ascend your weapons. So there's weapons, artifacts, and talents. Like I just showed you earlier, the artifacts you're not going to worry about, but there's domains for them. And to claim the rewards at the end of you beating whatever enemies was in that domain, it's actually going to cost you resin. Weapon material ascension, same thing. Weapon materials are only open certain days. So whereas artifacts, they're actually available every single day. It's quite annoying and tedious, yes. But if you actually look for the domains for the weapon materials, only certain ones are available on certain days, which is quite annoying. But you have to catch on whatever day you're trying to play. So you can see here, Monday, Thursday, you got these. Tuesday, Friday, you got these. Wednesday, Saturday, you got these. And then Sunday, you've got these. So you actually need to plan your week to know, alright, cool, on this day, I'm going to grind this. This day, I'm going to grind that. You got to be prepared type thing. That's why the Adventure Handbook's so useful, because it can actually tell you what's on for that day. And then, of course, we got the talent materials. Same thing with the talent materials. They're not available every single day. So you need to be wary of which days have what talents and which domains have what. you actually need to plan ahead. So make sure to look at the adventure handbook and see what days have what. You can look around and actually just be prepared for everything that's literally coming for you. But yeah, be wary of your resin. At the start of your day, every single day that you're playing, you're pretty much going to want to use it. So go ahead and rinse that out, so you're not just running on full, because it's something you're going to want to leave for it to refill gradually, because it's basically how you progress in the game. You don't want it full, you want it empty, so that it can refill so you can use it later. But yeah, that's the resin system. You need to be aware of that for real. Okay, so I just told you that you shouldn't grind artifacts because they're just going to get replaced later. So how are the other ways which I can pretty much make my team stronger and get an advantage in battles? So of course you're going to want to level up your peoples, get better weapons. Those two are the pretty much guaranteed ways to actually keep up, because your weapons won't really get replaced that often, unless you like get a 5-star on the other banners. But besides from that, leveling up is always something that benefits you, because you do get some summoning materials from it as well, and you'd of course level up your characters, which makes them stronger. But something you need to know is that this game is quite technical with the elements. So I'm gonna open the party setup right here so you can see how it works. At the top here you have the elemental resonance. It's blocked by my social medias a bit, but you guys will see it at the top. If you press into that, it basically teaches you the benefits you get of making certain teams. So you can see here, I have 2 geo units on my team, so I get this buff right here. Increases resistance to interruption when protected by a shield, increases attack damage by 15%. At the start of the game, the chance of you having a 2 geo units is very slim, but you'll probably likely have 2 fire units. For example, I run 2 fire units, which is really cool. You can see here the benefits you get are fervent flames, affected by Cairo for 40% less time, and increases attack damage by 25%. So you get that benefit if you had 2 pyro units on you. Right now I don't, but say if I swap out Ning Wang for here Bennett and I look at my elemental resonance, I then get that buff because it's now activated. If I was to have 4 unique types, so I'm gonna swap out Bennett here for Barbara, you can see everyone here is a different type. I'd actually get this one here, which is the one you'd most likely have at the early game. All elemental resistance plus 15% and physical resistance plus 15%. This is for having any 4 unique elements, but if you was to have 2 of the same type, you get a certain type of buff. So yeah, you need to know that so you can actually just tackle certain things. It's really useful for you to actually pay attention to what's on your team. And the last thing I'm pretty much going to go into is actually what teams are really good early game. So yeah, let's get into that. So early game, you're definitely going to be wondering, alright, cool, what characters should I focus on? What characters are really good and what not? They give you the traveler, whether it's a girl or a boy that you picked. Aether here, he's neat early game, but late game, when you're reaching plus 30, people tend to drop him because he just simply isn't the best unit to use anymore. He can still be useful and viable because he is going to get a lot of different elements as the story progresses. At the moment, he's only got the Geo and Anemo types, but he will be getting more. That's what we assume as the story progresses. But late game, he will get dropped by. So I do advise to get him to about 50, 60, maybe 70. But as you're progressing further, you'd actually be getting 4 stars through the summoning section. You probably get a 5-star. So early game, one of the 5 stars I got was actually Diluc. Diluc's probably the best pyro type in the game, probably next to Klee. He's just a heavy damage output type. So if you can get him, that's really good. Or the other that's really good is Jean. I'll show her in the character archive so you can see. Jean is really neat. She's an Anemo type. She's a healer as well. It's a really good 5-star that you can get to start off your game. But besides from that, if we're looking at the 4 stars, because the 4 stars are way more common, so you're more likely to have them. 4 stars that I used early game, I actually had Badu. I like Badu a lot because she can mix well with the pyro element, because I had Diluc. Badu, her elemental burst, that's the E. It does like a revenge counter. If some of you guys have seen 7 Deadly Sins, you can actually just multiply the output damage from absorbing the element damage that's being forced onto you basically. Jingling, I didn't use her early game, but as I got more cons onto her, she's actually really good. And if you can get her high level, her elemental burst, which is the teddy bear that you can see on top of her head, Gua, is a really good way of distracting enemies because it's like a taunt. So instead of them focusing on you, they'd more focus on her. Barbara is someone that you get early game for free. you actually do get some characters for free, which is really good. So like Jingling, Barbara is one of them. I believe you do get Razor for free. I'll put a list on the screen so you can see what characters that you see, because I might be wrong. Kaya is one that you get for free. Amber is one that you get for free. I don't advise you actually leveling Amber or Kaya. They're probably the top 2 worst units in the game. And people do say, like, yeah, everybody can be good in the game, which is really true. Everybody in this game can be good. That's one thing I like about this game. It's not strictly black and white with everybody being good or bad, but there's just some who just are way easier to use and just have way higher potential off the bat. But yeah, I think that's everything that's really key in the game that separates it from any other game. Is the things that you really need to know. As you're playing, you gradually pick things up, and they do explain things to you as well. But I feel like people are just generally, if you're like me anyways, just don't like listening a lot of the time. They just want to progress, apart from the actual storyline, of course. So hopefully this video was informative in some way. There's a lot of things that you will pick up in the game, like I said. If this video did help you out, or it is helping you get a good start, even if you don't subscribe straight away, maybe you'll come back and subscribe. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I feel like if I had a better start this game, it would have made such a big difference. Because you can see I don't have many 5 stars because I didn't know about that mercy system. But that mercy system is actually a big factor in the game to actually help you progress further early in the game. 5 stars can actually help you get that real edge over a lot of battles, for you to, like, you won't have to just try as hard basically, and you want an easy time playing a game like this, otherwise it's not going to be fun for you. But yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that. This video has been quite long, but I feel like it's a very useful video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, man. Besides from that, guys, my name is Zakashi, and I will see you guys in the next one.